tonight from ANZ Stadium. We launch a brand new era of the greatest game of all. Season 98 of the National Rugby League erupts as the Brisbane Broncos battle the Manly Seagulls. Right here on the one and only Wide World of Sports.
Hello and welcome to ANZ Stadium on the opening night of the new National Rugby League Premiership. We're on hand to see an historic game between the Brisbane Broncos and Manly. And joining me, Peter Stein.
Peter Ryan is the lock, Brad Thorne, Gordon Tallis in the second row, Andrew G, Shane Webke and John Plath make up the front row. Very strong interchange bench, including Kevin Campion and Tony Carroll, coached by Wayne Bennett.
Yeah, Luke Phillips, the former North Queensland, as the fullback. Hunter and Hancock on the wings. Hopewati in the centres with Terry Hill. Jeff Tooby, the 5'8", and captain. Craig Fields, the halfback. The lock forward is Nick Kossoff. Kallela and Menzies in the second row. Costello and Tierney in the front row with Jim Sidaris. Bob Fulton, the Australian coach, is the Manly coach.
Well, the two generals are going to have such a bearing on this game tonight. Great leaders in Alfie Langer and also Jeff Tooby. We might just look at the history of these two players and you can give us your thoughts on how you think they will pan out in their influence on this game tonight.
Well, it's hard to come up with the necessary superlatives for both players. Alan Langer, he has been battling a bad groin. He had an operation during the off-season. This is his first match back for quite a while, so he'll be hoping that he can get through the 80 minutes. 204 first-grade games. That's averaging something like 20 a season, so he's been very durable.
Yeah, the thing about Alfie is if Manly can control him, he is their side for mine. If Manly can shut him down, they'll win the game.
We'll be singing. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. We love the Raiders, we love the Magpies, Sharkies, we love the Broncos.
I love my team when they're going through the good times. I love my team when they're going through the bad times.
We love the Knights, we love the Dragons. You're never gonna keep me down. We love the Warriors, we love the Chargers. We love the Panthers, we love the Bears. We love the Cowboys, we love the Roosters. We love the Tigers, we love the Eagles. We love the Steelers, we love the Rabbitohs. We love the Eagles, keep me down.
What a night for Brisbane! Newcastle have won the grand final!
But I get up again, you're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again.
I love my footy.
Back at ANZ Stadium, which is absolutely a wonderful sight as we come through the last 3 years, the most forgettable years of rugby league. A crowd of probably just over 40,000 packed into this magnificent stadium, the home of the Commonwealth Games in 1982. Will probably take 60,000, but tonight I think it's probably around about low 40s. But it's a great atmosphere as Brisbane prepare to take on Manly. They first met back in 1988, and Brisbane really gave it to them. Here's Alan Langer taking them out now, the Broncos. Langer playing his 204th game. 20 test matches for Australia, 27 origins. On paper, they look awesome as we welcome to the telecast for the first time the king himself, Wally Lewis.
Thanks, Rabs, and it certainly is a very important night for the Broncos. I'm sure that they're not only want to prove to their own fans here in Brisbane that they're back, they're going to want to prove it to the fellas from across the border that the game 10 years ago was certainly no fluke. We've got some very talented players on board there. Alan Langer, of course, has had some injury worries throughout the season. Johnny Plath coming into the team. He's playing a very important role for the team tonight. But I can guarantee that there's a fair bit of emotion in that Broncos dressing room. Rarely does Wayne Bennett ever get excited, but he certainly is over the moon about this game. They're coming up against a very hard team to play against. Probably not the most liked side here in Brisbane, but I'm sure that we're going to see plenty of emotion out in the football field tonight.
Led by Jeff Tooby, the Manly side tonight reduced to 6 internationals. They've lost several of their stars, including Mark Carroll and probably the best centre in the game, Craig Innes. They come here tonight as the distinct underdogs. A new strip. And there's Captain Courageous. He knows the job in front of him will be huge. They won 18-4 when they met here in 1996. down on the sidelines as usual. We welcome back again Steve Roach.
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable atmosphere down here on the sideline. If this is what we're going to get, it's worth waiting for. You have a look at both sides. They're missing a couple of players. A couple of players have left. Mark Carroll from Manly will be sorely missed. Also, Glenn Lazarus, who I think has been their best forward over the last 5 years, if not the best forward in the world, has gone to the Melbourne Storm. Spare a thought for Danny Costello, playing his first game for Manly tonight. Should be a beauty. Manly have won the toss. We'll run with the breeze in the first half. Rabbits, let's get it on.
I think he might be pumped up, the big fellow. But we have to come back to life and some of the misfortunes as we observe it. We pause for that.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
And so we move now to the rendition of the national anthem, and tonight performed by this highly talented youngster, 10 years of age, Jamie Wells. The size of it. And assisted onto the dais. Brisbane from right to left. Some minor changes to rules, which we'll take you through. In transit, Brisbane send it down to Manly. Tuvey says to Tierney, you take it back. Hill comes into the attack. Hopewadi's with it, playing in the centres and bundled down. 23 away from his own line. Quick play the ball. And the Manly number 10 takes it ahead. That's Danny Costello. They're just inside the 30. They've got first use of the football. They push it across quickly. And that is Kallela, driven down by the Brisbane defence. They're there, they're keen, they're hunting. Now Tuvey scurries down the blind side. He's got Kosev with him, who gives it back on the inside for Terry Hill to handle. Second time on this first set. Now for the kick to clear, and it's off the boot of Craig Field, but it's gone straight down, waiting for for Lockyer. Lockyer brings it back to the 40. Oh, big tackle. Brings him down. Lockyer pulled down again. It'll bring a penalty. Penalty goes to the Broncos.
They're going against Kallela there. At one stage you thought that you'd take on Brisbane in the middle of the ruck. That's not the case for Manly tonight. Very obvious in their first set of 6 that they want to get a little bit wide. Back straight from the kickoff. They put 3 and 4 passes together.
The Broncos quoted 13-4 on to win this one tonight. As Andrew G takes it to the 40-metre line, they get their first real touch of the football. This is Shane Webke. Got an Australian jumper out of Super League last year. They put players down the blind. They come open. Thorne with a stampeding run. Went straight over the top of Costello. Welcome to first grade. And a penalty goes to the Broncos. Back chatting, he's improved the mark. Langer's going to take the kick at goal.
Harrigan trying to stand some authority on the match early. A couple of penalties going against the Eagles, and Jeff Tuvey just asking the question about those penalties. So
Jeff is blowing up. He's claiming that the penalty back down the ground was milked by Lockyer.
Yeah, I think he did a pretty good job of milking that penalty, Rabs, no doubt about it. If he was going to give a penalty, I thought it would have come on the first occurrence, but it was certainly a strong charge up the middle from Thorne. A little bit of poor play in the middle of that ruck, no doubt about it, but I can tell you the Broncos really do play the best football under Harrigan as a referee. They like playing a very quick game. fast and open, and Harrigan certainly referees a game of football in those terms.
Well, there's no doubt about the penalty there. You saw Neil Tierney's hand on the football. That won't be tolerated as Lockyer gets on the first points.
So Lockyer puts it over. First point of the match goes to the home side, 2-0. Second stanza of play. A deep kick. Langer's made to field it. Webke's there, willing. The hand in the air. Let me take it forward. And he drives to the 20-metre line. Platt in one of his rare run-on sides. 2 points to 0. Penalty goal for Brisbane came at the 2.5-minute marker. Goal kick by Darren Lockyer. 4 test matches under his belt these days. One of the rising stars of rugby league, no doubt. Tallis, one of the most potent attacking second rowers, took it up. Lockyer had to do the dance and get away from one, but well chased and brought down by Kosef. Platt, again a dummy half. And so Langer puts the kick in. He keeps it low. He puts it across the ground. And here's Phillips coming across, but it's Hunter who takes it back for Manly. In fact, it was Hancock. Now Tuvey again coming away from dummy half. Pull down on the 30. Field is the dummy half. Getting some of the smaller, quicker players out from the ruck as Sidaris doing what he likes to do, a running forward roll. Kosef decides to go straight. Able to get away from Kevin Walters. Field pushes it off to the left of the ground. The bouncing ball. Hopawate held just inside his 40, and then the drive of defence comes from the Broncos. 2-0 in favour of them as we approach the 4th minute of the game. Thorne coming over the top, making a smothering tackle on Kallela. It's pushed off for the kick from Field. He had to hurry it. It's a torpedo punt down to Lockyer. Off his 10, here he comes. To the 20. Puts on a spurt, and then Hill comes from behind to pull him down just outside the 30-metre point. The Broncos versus Manly in this first televised match on the 9 network.
It's been great defence from Brisbane. Manly look a little unsettled early in the match. They've had 4 or 5 different dummy halves. Jeff Tuvey started off in that role, and we saw a few different ones there, and they're a little bit flat in attack, Manly.
Halfway line, almost in the centre of the ground. Andrew G, who was under a cloud. There was some thought that he wouldn't run on for Brisbane. He's out there doing his job. Plath on the blind, and then Langer with a stacked blind side. Plenty of chases. Some work to be done back here for Phillips. Phillips is there, former Cowboys player, and from Canberra, did well, got it back.
That's great work there from Luke Phillips. He had a tough job to get back into the field of play. Good vision from Alan Langer. Saw that Phillips was pretty close up behind his defensive line and made him turn and chase.
And Sterlo, don't be surprised to see the Broncos kicking in their early tackles. They have an idea. It probably came from a couple of years ago when Matthew Ridge was the fullback for Manly, that their fullbacks stand very shallow in defence. If they can kick deep early in the tackle count, it gives them the opportunity to skate down there and keep Manly well pinned in their own defensive area.
Tuvey doing a lot of work out from dummy half. He's running it out and making valuable yards. This is the last tackle now. And the penalty has gone to Brisbane.
Yeah, no foot used in playing the ball back. Jeff Tuvey again very upset with the decision, and he's been marked 10 as well. Now
he's in the sin bin.
Oh, well. Well, he is the captain, and we don't know how he's approached Bill Harrigan, but gee, he did react very quickly, the referee, to discharge a man from this game.
Jeff Tuvey sent to the sin bin. Steve Roach on the sideline.
He's quite in his rights to ask the question, Jeff Tuvey, but he's not the only one. Plenty of Manly players mouthing off at the referee at the moment.
Well, Fuddy, the referee giving a number 6 in a maroon and white jersey 10 in the can for back chat. I thought I was watching an old State of Origin match there.
I don't remember that. Bozo will be looking for another cement truck in a minute.
Well, on the downside there, we saw Jeff Tuvey in the replay. He got up and was complaining to the referee, and that's why the technique went out the window. He was too busy questioning the referee or complaining to the referee about being held down in the play the ball area that he just didn't touch it with the foot. But, gee, I've got to question the speed which with Bill Harrigan put him in the bin.
It may well have been the words chosen by Jeff Tuvey as he addressed the referee that has earned him the time in the bin. as Lockyer puts it through the uprights again. Another 2 points, Brisbane 4. Manly yet to score. 7 minutes gone. This is a replay of Jeff Tuvey's play the ball. I was about to describe to you what they're looking for in the new play the ball rules, but that was just elementary stuff. He didn't roll the ball back with the foot. But it is something you might look for, viewers, this year. They want the player tackled to rise with the ball, both hands off the ground before playing it. If he doesn't do that, he will be penalised. Phillips starts for Manly, and he's put it out on the full. Another penalty goes to Brisbane, back at the centre of the ground. Well, the tide is flowing for Brisbane. Touch judge right on top of it.
And that had to be a precision call there from the Brisbane players, because if the ball had have bounced and gone into touch, it would have been a scrum with the Manly feed and loose head.
So Brisbane with the momentum, the physical momentum and the penalties. Tallis goes ahead. Fielded is down low, able to get a ball off for Plath. An arc-like run carries him back to the 30-metre line. Renoff yet to touch the ball for Brisbane. Langer's looking for a crossways play there with Kevin Walters. And Walters brings it back towards centre. Did Plath knock on a dummy half? And Harrigan said he did.
And John Plath said he didn't.
Well, I think Plathy is also having a bit of a whinge, Durlo. He thought that one of the Manly players that was laying in the play-the-ball area may have had something to do with him not being able to get to the ball cleanly.
Yeah, the referee got that right, because he did get his hand to it at some stage, so it was a knock-on.
Wally Lewis with special comments, joining the Nine Network in 1998. Paul Vorton, Peter Sterling, Steve Roach. In fact, the first time these two sides met in 1988, Paul was the captain of Manly. He was the hooker. And Wally, of course, was with the Broncos. Now they go to the right, Manly, to come down the blind, and the penalty goes their way.
I had a blinder too, Ray. Wasn't my fault we got beaten by 40. But Manly, their first stroke of luck or good fortune goes their way. They get a penalty. They'll just try and slow the game down now while Tuvey is off for another 7 or 8 minutes. This is the first time they've been in the Broncos half with the football.
Rabs, if Fatty hadn't been there, they'd have got beat by 50.
Look at that penalty count, 5-1 to the home side.
Here, mate.
Don't forget, on Sunday, our new time slot for Sunday afternoon, 4 o'clock, the entire game. The Bears and the Knights. That'll be a big one at North Sydney Oval, and I don't think there'll be any space at the ground at North Sydney on Sunday. Get there early. Penalty goes now to Manly. He's got them. Brisbane for a play the ball indiscretion. I think there was a hint of stealing the ball, raking it out. The marker is not allowed to touch the man playing the ball at any time during the play the ball.
Well, there's the hand there, and again another good decision from Bill Harrigan. And you would imagine that Luke Phillips would be pretty happy that his first kick is a very easy one, looking to make up for that mistake, the restart of play, putting it out over the sideline on the full. Not only a big task for this young player tonight, just in general play, but also with the added responsibility of the goal kicking.
22 years of age, Canberra 1996. Played for the Cowboys last year. 122 points with that club. And he gets the 2 points for Manly. Puts them on the board. 4 points to 2 at ANZ Stadium. Brisbane over Manly. 4-2 penalty goals only. We haven't had a try here. Julian O'Neill got the first try of the NRL. 4-2 as Manly put together a good set of 6. We'll be able to, if they complete the 6 or complete 5, we'll tell you how many metres they've made, but it's been a very good set. As Tierney on the 4th has tackled a couple of metres into Brisbane's area. And now across for Kosef to spread wide. Field is with it and then lets a decoy go. Menzies is out wide. And Menzies will take the tackle of Renoff, submitting in the tackle so that he wasn't taken over the sideline. A 55-metre gain on 5 tackles for Manly.
Oh. And we'll get the scrum feed here. Michael Hancock there trying to keep the ball in the field of play. No real reason to do so. No great advantage if he had have done what he was trying to achieve. Craig Field here just happy to pick up 10 or 15 metres, and that's not a bad play with a man off the field.
So Hancock played at that football, and Manly will get the feed. Had it have gone off him without him playing at the ball, remember, it would have been a Brisbane loose head and feed.
In fact, this will be a confidence booster for Manly if they can hold it together until they've got their full complement back out. They are the only team so far that have added points with the man in the sin bin, and they've maintained pretty good ball control and possession during that period of time.
So that ball came out of the scrum and went well back down the ground before Terry Hill got the ball from field. It's played out wide by Menzies, and now Hopewati using his strength 9 metres away from the line. Played back for Sidaris, put away for Kosev, turned in for Costello, lost, and the referee has ruled a knock-on against Costello.
Well, there's been quite a few mistakes in this game so far, and it's the first match of the season for both teams, and they're all rushing everything. Trying to do everything too quickly. Just got to settle down. It's only the first 15 minutes of their year. Looks like Costello getting a rest. He's done a couple of good things, but they've been handy if you had held on to that one.
Fulton has gone on in 14, Costello off. Manly with 12 men, their captain and halfback in the sin bin. Manly, there's a race for the ball. It's just been won by Langer. And now they come away to the 20-metre point with Tallis. Tallis put down heavily. The ball coming out. Was it stolen? Penalty goes Brisbane's way.
Don't kick it away.
He got Kosev. 4-2. As we watch the replay, and he's claimed that Kosev has helped the ball from the grasp of Gordon Tallis in a 2-man tackle. Brisbane again aided by the penalty. Webke puts on a buffeting run. Carries him inside the 40-metre line. And again, the sound of the whistle.
3. Yep, here.
And he's calling Hopewati over. Let's listen to it.
I'm yelling out, hand off his head, hand off his head. You got a hand, no, yeah, he was too, but then you dropped your knee on his head.
Oh, no, I didn't mean those.
Yeah, I know you might in a minute, but it did come into contact with his head, okay? Let's get it out. Okay, Clay.
So Brisbane getting their 6th penalty of the game. That look of innocence on the face of Hopewati as he came over to be addressed by the referee. Tubi's back. Brisbane going to the attack. They're inside the danger zone. They're 10, 12 metres out, right in the centre of the ground. Tubi's out wide, trying to get himself into the centre. Langer runs to the right, puts the kick in. Menzies has done well. Fielded it on the legs and then got it away to the 20-metre line. Good work from a big man. And Menzies did that. Now Fulton. Tuvey getting himself back into the acting half position. Oh, Tierney gave a chancy pass. And Phillips was able to stand and give Field a chance to go down the ground. And Renoff puts him away, much to the glee of the crowd. Tuvina trying to step his way clear. Field did well. Good reflexes. Kosev trying to promote something. Hancock goes away from the sideline to be driven by Hancock. Hill a dummy half. Lets Fulton run a decoy. Sidaris angles across. Loses the ball. Manly get it back. It'll be called down for a scrum. Steve Roach down on the sidelines.
Yeah, it hasn't really been a confrontation in the forwards. Manly are playing a different style of football, trying to play short off the runner, but Brisbane are trying to go through them at the moment. Good games already by Tallis and Webke.
Manly back to the full complement in the scrum for the first time in the last 12 minutes. That's a forward pass from Renouf, picking up Lockyer. And Bill Harrigan got a good call from his touch judge.
An inside ball there from Renouf, who never actually got to the line before he passed. He just grabbed and passed it back inside. Forward pass well picked up by Bill Harrigan and the touch judge. So a mistake by Brisbane.
Know my thoughts on it. I would have been giving a penalty. There was no doubt that Lockyer knew the player who's passing the two was in front of him. And that, to me, requires a penalty. Terry Hill plays it. Craig Field just stammers there for a moment or so. Kosef trying to get Menzies working. Menzies has been given the right, a roving commission by Bob Fulton. He's all over the park tonight. Tierney for Hancock. Hancock taken by the other one and put into touch. You won't see Craig Hancock make that mistake too many times, but of course he was dealing with this very strong opposite number 2.
Yeah, big work here from Michael Hancock. Last couple of times he's tackled his opponent. Got a little bit of help there from Renouf in the end, but he didn't need much. We've got a personal vendetta out there tonight. Michael Hancock looking to stamp his authority in that position.
He's so enthusiastic about his game, Michael Hancock, Wally. He angers plenty, but you've played with him. He's so full of enthusiasm.
Rabs, I've turned in the ultimate competitor, Mick. A lot of people ask me for my finest players in football teams over the years, as we see a stink bung on.
Terry Hill and Alan Langer, the combatants. Talking of Michael Hancock, he's still on the ground.
Well, he got a boot accidentally, and then play erupted after that, but he was lying on the ground and copped a boot. And now Terry Hill and Alan Langer will be spoken to.
Right, let's look at it and then we'll go in on the conversation.
All right, you two are having a pickle at it. Yes. None of the three of us never got who was the instigator or who didn't, right? We're going to go back over there and play the ball for first tackle. Yeah. I don't want any more in the game. Get it right out. We're playing the ball, fellas. I don't know who instigated.
I'll tell you who did have a piece of the action was Jeff Tuvey.
Just here?
Yeah, he certainly did, but I probably thought that maybe even Elf started that. He was objecting, I think, to Terry Hill taking a little bit of time to get off the tackle player. The Broncos pretty fortunate to get away with that one.
Oh, big hit by Manly. Kosef it was on Ryan. Peter Ryan deals them out better than anybody, but Kosef got a big shot on him. 30-metre line as they go away from it, and here's Hancock staying at the centre, trying to get a quick play the ball on the penalty. Penalty against Manly for not letting him play the ball.
There's Hancock taking it up the middle. Just such a strong bloke. He's commonly regarded as the strongest fellow in the Broncos. But getting back to him, I honestly would have him in any football team I played for. He made that blatant mistake before. You'll see a great performance from him. He hates making them.
Brisbane then leading by 2 points. No tries in the game. 2 goals off the boot of Lockyer. Phillips got the 2 for Manly. The penalty count swaying very much in Brisbane's favour. Here's Tallis running off the right hip of Kevin Walters. He'll play the ball 25 metres away from the Manly line. They come back on the left of the ground, and Langer combines with Rebke. Rebke having a superb game, stood and offloaded to the support, and the ball comes loose. What's Harrigan going to do? Play the advantage, and Manly allowed to come away with it. That would be the 0 tackle. That's where the 0 tackle does apply. But from an ordinary kick, the return is not a 0 tackle. But here, where you've got a breach, it does apply.
Well, I thought it should have been another penalty to Brisbane. I've got no doubt Craig Field interfered with John Plath, who was trying to support on the outside.
Tuvey and Field working hard around the rucks. Sedaris given the chance to run more tonight than most games. Play back for Tuvey, who will do this job, I guess, for the Australian side in the Test series against New Zealand. And Menzies to the halfway line. Then for Field, who puts the kick high. He's sending Lockyer back, but look at Lockyer. Graceful at all times. Running away to the deep and then bringing it back 25 out from his own line. Field back on his feet after taking a knock.
And so too did Jeff Tuvey. He got poleaxed. He sat down for a play or two, and he's finally just come back into the defensive line now, but it did sting him.
Walters now running straight, losing it again, and again the zero tackle applies for Manly. Field, a dummy half on the right of the ground for Terry Hill, and he'll play it about 38 metres away as some replacements prepare to come on. Lyons is coming on for Sedaris, and I see that the Brisbane side getting a replacement ready as well.
Well, whistle's good, Andrew. That was borderline. Get him down.
Campion is coming on. Penalty goes to Manly, though, out of this.
High tackle by Andrew G on Costello, right around the choppers from Andrew G. Not much damage done.
Don't forget Sunday, 4 o'clock, the full match. It will kick off at 2:30 at North Sydney, as will all Sunday games. And you'll see it. Norths and Newcastle, 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Underwood is on as Manly look for the first try of the match. Kosef, 7 out, Tuvey. Manly put a play together. Field across, got a decoy run. Phillips in from the back, put down a metre away. Play back for Field again. A pass across the face. Sedaris looking for runners, got the ball away. Field comes out beyond the 10-metre line. He goes backwards to go forward. Menzies is with him. And the Brisbane defence swarming across the top of them. Now Kosef turns it back into the middle. Field pushes it out on the left. Lyons is with it. The pass might have been dubious. Phillips is there with it now on tackle 5, and he got one across the face.
They copped a very heavy tackle. Luke Phillips hasn't moved. Been some good defence. The pass did look a bit dusty.
Well, the arm was hung out there by Alan Langer, got him flush across the nose. Pass was forward. And an accidental swinging arm there.
By the same token, I thought maybe that touch judge, who wasn't too far away, could have come in.
Well, that's right. I mean, what are they doing?
Well, he couldn't get any closer to the play, could he?
He didn't land too well, neither did he, just rubbing his nose there. It would have been too good when you've got 15 stone on your back either, coming down, landing fair on your snout.
Wally Lewis joining the 9 Network commentary team this year. With us in the box tonight.
And there, Bill Harrigan just had a word to Alan Langer about keeping the tackles down. And he's now penalised him for a high shot. Interesting to see whether Manly decide to kick for goal here. That is their goal kicker who just got poleaxed.
Well, the other option they do have is Craig Field, who I'm not sure what his percentage was last year. It wasn't terrific. But Luke Phillips looks like he's well enough to take this one.
I'm surprised if they take a tap here. They've had 12 tackles down here in a row almost, although Tuvey now points to the post and Craig Field is the man to step up, take on the responsibility. They were building some nice momentum there, Manly, and being led by Nick Kosef. He's starting to leave his stamp on the game.
Steve Roach on the sidelines, more and more action coming from the interchange bench.
Yeah, there's plenty happening down here, and as you would expect, it's a pretty warm night here in Brisbane. The players being used by both coaches.
Oh, Luke Phillips in his debut match for Manly, wisely taken out of the game by Dr. Nathan Gibbs, the Manly and Australian doctor, and Craig Field will take the shot at goal. 4-2 then, 26 minutes gone. Opening night of NRL. One match down in New Zealand earlier, won by the Rabbits. The Rabbitohs defeating Auckland. What a magnificent start for them. 20 metres in, 15 out, and Field gets it straight between the high diddle. That's 4 points all now. He's either hot or very cold, Craig, with the boot. He had a horror night, I remember, last year at Manly on one occasion. It was almost an embarrassment. Talking of the Rabbitohs for the former boy from Redfern, Darren Lockyer takes us into the next section. And that is Hunter. Brings it back to the 20-metre line. And a good run by him. Trying to lay a foundation for another good set by Manly. This is Costello, Tuvey and Kalela. Kalela met by the defence of Ryan. He's one of them. And the other fellow right up front making the tackle was Kevin Campion. Got himself a state jumper from memory, Kevin Campion, a couple of years ago. As Tuvey works it right and Field puts it onto the right foot. It's just gone out on the full. Too close to call from up here anyway. And this was the kick. He had plenty of time. He just got it on the outside edge of the shoe. And it's gone just over the touchline. Look at the face on Craig Field. He's admonishing himself.
Well, we've got Cliff Lyons at halfback. Jeff Tuvey has moved to lock forward for this scrum. So with Lyons, Tuvey and Field out there, some reshuffling from Bob Fulton, his positional players.
Brisbane just anchoring the ball in the scrum for a brief moment, trying to fish out a penalty. Renouf will play at 35 metres away from the Manly line. 4 points all now. Manly away to an awful start. But they've clawed their way back, and here's a penalty going to Brisbane. There's a hand on the ball in the play the ball. That's what he's saying. And they will not tolerate that this year. So Lockyer. Very calm. He oozes class, everything he does. He looks as though he's totally in control of the nervous system. G plays it, centre of the ground, chance for Brisbane as Campion takes it ahead. Taking two of the defenders out of it. Plath away. Now Kevin Walters tries to put Renouf flat. 9 out. Harrigan calling Manly back to the goal line. Ryan pushing it on for G. And down around the legs is Kosef making another valuable tackle. Langer across for Lockyer. A stabbing kick, and Phillips is there, grasping goal. On the line, we'll see a line drop out.
Good play there from the Brisbane side. Langer starting to run, find his supports, and then a nice kick from Lockyer. But great positioning from Luke Phillips. We saw him take a knock a couple of minutes ago. That is good fullback play, that. Right, Johnny on the spot stuff.
Tell you what, it was a fair pickup too at pace.
Just dropped short by a couple of centimetres of getting it back into the field of play. The line, of course, is part of the in goal. Craig Field will be looking to put this kick down the ground as far as he can. He's done a mighty job. He's kicked it 50 metres, and now it is Campion who brings it back. 35 metres out, half an hour gone in the game, a half an hour gone in the opening telecast match of the NRL on the 9 network. Brisbane and Manly, no tries. Langer around the back, picking up Tallis. Tallis trying to keep the momentum going. He will play it now, just inside the 20. Brisbane again, starting to launch an attack, and Campion again. Very busy, right in the centre, 15 out from the line. Plath decides to have a run himself, quite quick out of there, and this is the last tackle. Kevin Walters, the pass, it came off the shoulder, Darren Smith got it, and that's the turnover. First of the game. Kosef losing the ball. Now Ryan flirting with the sideline, and he's into touch. On the first tackle.
He got an advantage. He didn't have to go out that way. He ran 6 or 7 metres.
Bill Harrigan is saying that Brisbane got some advantage. It was just a question that Brisbane didn't get an advantage. When the ball came from Kosef, Brisbane is saying that Ryan had no advantage, but Harrigan's right. He made 7 metres down the right, and he, and only he, made the mistake of going into touch.
Yeah, Harrigan said to the players he didn't have to run that way. They did well to hang on there, Manly. Some good defence from them right on their line. It's something they're quite proud of, their 22-metre zone defence. And Hopewadi, it's been a good battle. Hopewadi and Renoff in the centres, and Hopewadi and Smith. He's making good fist of the centres, Hopewadi.
That's three. Jimmy, get your arms down.
Tuvey. Sidaris. Sidaris is wrapped up. He'll be made to play the ball 38 metres away from his own line. So they've been able to repel Brisbane again, Manly. It's been a tremendous struggle. There's one side, then the other. Tries to get across the line. Hancock is back at full back, and that kick is off his right boot. Now, De Vere. He's had a reasonably quiet night. No fault of his own. Penalty, Manly.
Yeah,
there's that rule. There's that rule in the play the ball I was telling you about.
Yeah, it's a good decision here. I'm sure you'll see Michael De Vere. He doesn't have control of the football. There you see Langer knocking on anyway, but De Vere was a man penalised for an incorrect play the ball.
You see, the point that they're trying to enforce is that if he gets up with the football and takes both hands off the ground, when he puts it back on the ground, the defending side is able to start moving forward. That is the starting point of when the defence can move forward, when the man playing the ball puts it on the ground, which is different than the ball clearing the ruck under the old rule. Manly gets a chance to go ahead.
Yeah, interesting decision too by Captain Jeff Tuvey. I mean, the game is aching for a try. You feel that something's about to happen, and one of the teams will score very soon. But at the moment, it's just a shootout with the goal kickers.
Well, Fatty, it's generally regarded, isn't it, that the last 10 minutes in the first half and the first 10 in the second half are the ones that almost decide the game, the way that the speed that the game's played. So it could be a very important kick, this one. Missed, and they've certainly lost a golden opportunity.
Aching for a try. Beautiful stick.
That's just throwing from
already.
Now, it is Craig Field from a reasonably wide angle. He's got it. Gee, I'll tell you what, he chose to just put enough oomph on it, but Manly by 2. Watch this, it just flops over the crossbar.
And a great decision by Jeff Tuvey. Take the shot for goal. I mean, you've got to look at it. They've got a 6-4 lead, Manly, and you wouldn't say they've played great football. It's been a very stop-start affair, this one, and it's only a matter of time, I think, before it opens up.
9-5 the penalties to Brisbane. They were given a very big push by the penalties early. Not unfairly, really. I mean, Manly made the mistakes, and they wore the wrath of referee Harrigan. This is Terry Hill getting it outside the 30-metre line. This has been one of the features of Manly's performance tonight, I feel. Their ability to bring the ball off their own line and make good yardage. They've played a very good set of 6 coming off their own line. Played there by Hancock, then Tierney, now Colella, and look at Langer. He mightn't be very big, but he can certainly put the big men away. Not that Colella is a giant. And Field puts a grubbing kick in. It's heading for the touchline with De Vere in pursuit. It'll be a scrum.
I think that's good tactics against Brisbane. You don't really want to play them in broken play. I think you're better off trying to find touch when you can, and Craig Field does so on this occasion. Picks up 20 metres, and now they get a chance to set their defence against the Brisbane side.
And Sterlo, good tactics, I think, in the area that they're deciding to kick the ball. They know when they're kicking to the right-hand side of the field, they're kicking to Michael Hancock, and that's a dangerous play. Michael De Vere, certainly a very good footballer, but when he doesn't, when he returns the football, he certainly doesn't with the ferocity of his wing counterpart.
Langer then tackled at the base of the scrum, just out from his own 20-metre line. Darren Smith, and the 15 for Brisbane is Philip Lee. Of course, I'm remiss in not mentioning that the Cowboys are doing battle currently with Adelaide Oval. So a big opening night for the NRL in Auckland, Adelaide and Brisbane. And tomorrow, of course, the focus in the afternoon goes to Parramatta Stadium for Parramatta and Penrith. Then tomorrow night, a big one between Cronulla and Sydney City. Langer's kick has got Walters in front of the kicker for mine. He got a hand on it. It's play on. And Brisbane with the ball, but I would have been inclined to penalise Brisbane for Walters being in front of Langer.
He was half a metre offside, no doubt, and Bill Harrigan was in very good position to pick it up.
Different thing altogether.
So this is the replay. Langer is the kicker. And I've got no doubts that Walters, the chaser, was in front of him and then got a hand on it.
Quick tap.
Brad Thorne will be made to play the ball 8 metres away from the line. Renoff, angling away to the right of the ground. One of the prolific try scorers. Still there's no tries, but is it coming here? Away for Kevin Walters. He tried to turn and hit and spin. Lyons put the shot on him. Darren Smith scoops it away. And this is Lee. Good work by him. It might promote something on the left of the ground. Lockyer for Renoff on the inside, but they're sweating on Renoff. 8 metres out now. They have another go. They mount another attack. Langer for Webke. Webke got the ball down. Brisbane are over the line. Have they got it down? No, he's ruled that he's short of the line.
Well, if he's not over the line there, I'm not here.
He was half a metre over the line. He was held up.
And therefore, he's chosen the wrong restart. They're going to put it over now. Yes, they do. Darren Smith is in wide out for Brisbane. First try of the match. Scored by Darren Smith to take Brisbane back to the lead at 8 points to 6. Now, this was Langer.
He had his head in the grandstand there.
Harrigan has ruled that he wasn't in goal and wasn't held up in goal. Otherwise, he wouldn't have restarted with a play the ball. They spread it quickly, and Darren Smith got under the tackle from Hunter and the first try of the game.
I do think that was the inexperience of John Hopewadi in the centres, but he had to slide across with Darren Smith and have enough faith in Anthony Kalila on his inside to take the man who threw the pass. By Hopewadi coming in, it opened up an overlap, and Darren Smith ran straight into a big hole.
Yeah, let's talk about the decision by Bill Harrigan. I mean, Alan Langer's half his body was over the line. The ball was in his arms. If the correct decision is made, then it should be what, a scrum?
Scrum.
10 metres out.
With the Brisbane.
With Brisbane getting the feet, fair enough. But instead, the play goes on and they score out wide. So it's a strange decision there from Bill Harrigan. Here comes Lockyer.
Lockyer from about 2 metres in from the sideline fails to convert. So Brisbane by 2, just on that point that Paul was making, unless you actually had the view that Bill Harrigan had, standing on top of the play the ball, it would be pretty hard to say that Alan Langer was in fact in the in goal. Harrigan was standing on top of it, and he felt that Langer wasn't in the in goal. You've got to run with the man. He had the best view of it.
Well, we'll take his decision, Rabs, but as Sterlo mentioned, John Hopewadi's inexperience in the centres may have cost him a little bit there. I think he's done a terrific job all night long. Every time that we've seen Renoff or Smith run with the football, he's been like the dog at the postman's heels all the way around. I think he's having a blinder for him at the moment there, but it just came down to a simple answer of mathematics. The Broncos had 6 players on the right-hand side. Manly had 4. To be very honest, I think the Broncos have failed in a couple of attempts where they should have gone to the right-hand side of the field where they've had massive player overloads.
So just a matter of seconds. In fact, there it is now, the siren ending the first half. An enormous struggle. It's been an arm wrestle. And the first try came at the 38th minute with Brisbane wide out. A try for Darren Smith. And prior to that, 3 goals for Darren Lockyer, or 2 goals for Darren Lockyer, and 3 goals for Luke Phillips. That's the scoreline. Jeff Tuvey spending 10 minutes in the sin bin. It is 8 points to 6. In fact, it wasn't Phillips with those 3 goals for Manly. I'm forgetting it was Craig Field with 2 from 2 and Phillips with 1 from 1. We will go to a break. Then we'll come back. Ken Sutcliffe will be with Peter Sterling and Paul Wharton. That's coming up on the other side of this break.
Amount of possession as that doesn't show is the amount of penalties, and I think that's had a fairly marked... well, it's had an effect in this first 40 minutes, that's for sure. Missed tackles there are pretty good. Handling errors, I don't think either coach would be particularly happy with that, because there were some handling errors made in the attacking zones on the field. Not many line breaks, and really it's a game, as you point out, waiting to explode. Not many line breaks at all, so we haven't seen a lot of open flowing football.
For the first few minutes, it looked as if we were...
On 9.
Green Acres is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
New York is where I'd rather stay. I get allergic smelling hay. I just adore a penthouse view. Darling, I love you, but give me Park Avenue.
New Challenger, the best of both worlds.
Hello, Yellow Pages Direct. How can we help?
I need a hardware store. Is there one that delivers?
Certainly, sir. Would you like the number?
You're getting very, very sleepy. So it's just as well that Target's taking 20% off quilts, covers, sheets, pillows, towels and curtains. That's 20% off the mark price of all Manchester. But hurry, the offer is for this week only.
This massive 4-bedroom home with double garage and ensuite is under $165,000, including land. Repay just $212 a week at Springfield.
Springfield Days.
Whatever you need, call Yellow Pages Direct on 13 13 19 and we'll find it for you.
Where do you find the best brands and the best prices all under one huge roof?
It's all here at Hardware House.
Like this Ryobi 450-watt jigsaw, ideal for the handyman and top value at $89. Stylish Gainsborough brass entry lock, an unbelievable $79.95. Duragrind 115mm angle grinder, plenty of power and unbeatable at $49.95.
It's all here at Hardware House.
All the best brands at the best prices. It's all here at Hardware House.
The untold story of divorce.
It's like a jail sentence.
Desperate dads broke and beaten by new laws.
Women who hate men drew this up.
And Brisbane success story, Savage Garden, top of the pops worldwide.
I'm a star.
60 Minutes Sunday.
A day that reached, I think, something like 26 degrees, and it's a warm night. A crowd probably up around the high 40,000s, I'm told, by those that have been coming here all the time. As Alan Langer brings his team back for the second half, which has been, well, was trialless, I should say, for 39 minutes. But Brisbane taking this narrow lead into the second half. Let's have a look at some of the work rates now for these sides. Manly still to come out. Forwards work rate there for Brisbane. Thorne and Ryan working hard.
Yeah, Brad Thorne leading the way, 12 tackles and 6 hit-ups. Andrew G, always very strong, 8 and 8. Not a great deal of work needed to be done there because the ball has changed possession so often. And I guess that'll be reflected in the Manly tackle count as well. Brad Thorne doing a good job in leading the way. And there you see Neil Teeney with 14 tackles. Jim Sedaris has been strong in the middle of the ruck, and Bob Fulton will be looking for more of that in this next 40. I still think Nick Kosef has been their best. 7 tackles, 5 hit-ups, but a lot of those hit-ups has been able to offload and promote the man inside and out and find some space.
Plus those tackles of Kosef, Peter, have had a lot of quality about them.
Well, they always do. He's a class act, and you know, hopefully he and Steve Menzies will be able to work something on the fringe of the ruck.
Talking of quality in the Brisbane side, Brad Thorne, as we said on camera, has been working hard, but probably the quality player of their forwards has been Webke. He's really been punishing when taking the ball up.
I think both coaches may have said at half-time as well, Rabs, that the importance of the kicking game should be increased a little bit. It's a pretty dour struggle up the middle of the ruck there. Both back lines are looking after each other. They're going to have to try and make sure that they get the ball downfield as quickly as they can.
Wally Lewis with us in the commentary box. We'll go to another international in a moment, Steve Roach, who's on the sidelines. But here's Brisbane with their first set of 6 in the new half. They're leading by 2 if you've just joined us. 8-6, 1 try came to them at the 39th minute. That's Webke taking a battering as he's forced down. Darren Smith got the 4-pointer. The rest of the match has been highlighted by goal kicking and not a lot of football, I've got to say, in the fair dinkum department. Time and motion study of that first half reduces it back to about 20 minutes of actual football. Now Phillips, who took a very heavy knock in the first half from Alan Langer. It was questioned and cautioned. And Manly now to the 30-metre line with their new strip on display for the first time. And here's Hill trying to get around his man, but pursued by the Pearl and pulled down by Renoff. Field calling Sidaris up the middle on the inside. Sidaris obliges. 42 metres away from the Brisbane line. Nothing in this game. They've been almost locked together for the entire period of 43 minutes as Lyons makes the ball do the work, keeps the opposition guessing. Hopewadi's heading for the sideline, got a ball back inside. Well done by Hunter. He keeps it in the field of play, and the speculation paid for Hopewadi. Field puts it high and across, and the bomb. Oh, Lockyer! Look at him go. He comes away after a magnificent take. Johnny Plath looking for somebody. Hancock almost put himself offside. 42nd minute, Lockyer. Beautiful stuff. 30-metre line. G winds it up, grinds his way up, and plays the ball back for Johnny Plath to use Gordon Tallis, and Tallis is met by Sidaris and Kosef. Kosef made the main tackle. Plath found no markers, picked up 10 metres. And he's got play just inside Manly's area on 5. As the ball is driven off the boot and out on the full. So again, the kickers are offline.
Yep, just there, fellas.
Back where the ball went out on the last tackle. Steve Roach is on the sideline with a half-time report. Yes, big fella.
Yeah, well, Wayne Bennett was pretty happy with his side in the first half. He said, I want more support in close. The likes of Tallis and Webke are getting halfway through little gaps, and that's lead the way there through for Alfie Langer and also Kevy Walters. He said, be patient, don't try and score off every play. And he said, the main thing is don't get caught up in the niggle. Keep away from the referee. For Manly, Bobby Fulton said, look, we're committing suicide, giving away too many penalties and easy turnovers. He wants more depth in attack and a little bit more skill put on. And he said, we've got to make Brisbane play off their own line, so let's kick early in the tackle count.
Thanks, Steve. Steve Roach on the sidelines as Lyons now goes to a second man play, and he picks up Menzies. Waiting out there, lurking out there, this champion second row, looking for some space. Not a game, really, for Steve Menzies and the Steve Menzies types. Tries at a minimum. Not a lot of space. Two brilliantly coached teams not offering too much space. The little chip by Field, and Hancock is heading for the bleachers. No chances. And they will come back with the line drop out.
And a good idea to kick this way by going a couple of passes because it brings the defence up. Michael Hancock, he was aided there by a very nice bounce. Darren Lockyer just slowing things down because they have been under some pressure these 3.5 minutes in this second stanza.
Dropout time off the boot of Lockyer. Didn't get much height on it. Sidaris picks it up in good field position, makes his way back inside the 30-metre line. 25 out, in fact. And Sidaris, a quick play the ball for his captain to feed on for Tierney. And Tierney now has centred play just inside the 20. Tuvey a scamper off to the right, running diagonally, drawing the defence in. Hill can't handle. And then Tuvey makes the tackle. I'm wondering, was there an advantage there?
Well, I wouldn't think so on that occasion. No advantage, says the referee. Better play, though, from Manly. A big hit up from Tierney, then Tuvey out. Look how Brisbane hang off. They hang off. That's good defence. And Terry just had to catch that, and maybe there's a chance on the outside for Hancock.
Bill Harrigan has ruled no advantage. Tuvey is disputing it. So Langer to the open side, and Hancock is there to take some of the work away from his inside backs. He'll play it back on his own 20-metre line. 8-6 is the score. There's Andrew G. Takes the next play to just inside the 30-metre point. And then Plath looks for Tallis, and Tallis is there. Gets a pass away. Was that Lockyer with him on the outside? It was Lockyer. They're 42 metres out from their line. They can score from anywhere. Plath runs up on the far side of the ground. He's joined over there by Hancock. He won't go down in the tackle. Langer gets his pass away. Now it's Lockyer again in the centre of the park. Down inside the 20. Tallis is there. Tallis looks inside. The Pearl is there. Renoff is there. Oh. He gets it back. Langer puts it over the line. Oh boy, we didn't have to wait long.
That's Brisbane at their best. Keeping the ball alive. Great work from Darren Lockyer. Got involved twice. Took advantage of a nice little pass on the outside from Gordon Tallis, and this was the next play. Hancock beats one, pushes off another, and Lockyer, here he goes, slides through, bursts through the tackle from Craig Field. Gordon Tallis, when he takes his pass, he's actually got two unmarked players on the outside. He finds Renoff on the inside. He brushes through and had the presence of mind to see Alan Langer only run 3 metres, but gee, rounded off a very special try.
It was a try, wasn't it? Great football from the Broncos, kept it alive, but put it down to Lockyer. He's one of the few players tonight who's actually hit the gap and run straight and hard. And he's shown that you do that, you will get through the gap. Couple of missed tackles there from Manly, and Alfie looked geeing up his players.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're all paying credit to that try, and it certainly was a magnificent try, but you had a look on the replays, the amount of defensive work coming from the Manly players. They were at absolute desperation to get back there. It was only a try of that status that denied them being able to pull them down just a couple of metres short of the line. But that's as good a try as you'll see in rugby league. Sure to bring the crowds back to the game.
Lockyer converts. Brisbane have extended their lead. 14-6. The Broncos over the Eagles now. Well, what a night. Was right in on top of it because he was dancing in the aisles at the wonder of the try. And the point I was making, we didn't have to wait long to see one of the season's great tries. I think we'll be looking back to round one and replaying it many times. 14-6, 8 points the margin. 47th minute from ANZ Stadium, and the Broncos just edged away. Displayed supremacy for the first time in the game. Played by Thorne as they approach halfway. Hancock puts himself into the game again.
He's having a game, isn't he, Michael Hancock? Of course, Wendell Saylor out injured, so both Hancock and De Vere looking to make every post a winner. As the kick goes through from Lockyer again, I thought Renoff was questionable again as to where he was chasing from. He comes up with the tackle, and I think hurt himself in doing so.
Well, he made the tackle, but I agree with Peter. He looked to be fractionally offside, and a penalty to Manly probably would have been more fitting, as Terry Hill, I thought for a moment, might have been called for a knock-on. Tuvey now is 12 metres away from his uprights.
There was a tremendous try there, finished off by Alan Langer, but you've got to say that Manly had 4 or 5 occasions where they could have stopped it. Really some awful defence. Started by Craig Field, missing Lockyer. They had a couple of shots on Renoff close to the line, and it's a try that they will know they contributed to. As Field put under pressure, the ball goes loose. Here's Kevin Wallace leading the race. Did he ground it?
Well, we might see the video come into play here.
So Bill Harrigan has called for the use of the video.
Go back to where the kick. I'm pretty sure that it was a ricochet off his leg. No dramas there.
Bill
and
Harrigan
he's got the ball down, I reckon.
Is of the opinion that it's a fair try. And we are now about to go through the process for the first time of the video referee. And the fans at the grounds will notice just a little variation in that when we get the decision up on the board. Kevin will appeal for the try. Let's have a look at it. Downward pressure. Any part of the forearm is okay. He's done that. slowing.
No, I don't think he's got
There's no
downward
try
pressure.
there.
The ball wasn't on the ground when he struck it with his forearm. I'd be of the opinion that the video referee will... Let's watch this shot again. Yeah, he hasn't been able to get a clean shot on it. And had the ball been on the ground and he forced it with his forearm, that would be a try, but the ball wasn't on the ground.
The video referee tonight is John Gosha.
The rule book talks about the ball on the ground, and it's no try from John Gosha. No try. And I think he's got it right. If you read the rule book, it talks about the ball on the ground can be forced by the forearm or the torso. But it's important that...
Oh, what a mistake.
You've got to read it very closely. And John Gosha's done that, there's no doubt, many times. Played by Langer, they go back. Thorne is with it now. And he will play it 25 metres away from the Manly line. Will Manly come back? Will Brisbane put them away? It's with Tallis now. And he's taken on by Kosef, and there he is again, Kosef. Quality defence. John Platt is pulled down, but you've got a penalty here against the Manly markers.
Well, he never got to mark him, Nick Kosef. He gave away 2 points there. He had to know he was going to be penalised.
I'll tell you what, I think it was pretty smart play from Johnny Platt there. He ran just alongside where the defender was. He obviously knew that he was no chance of being onside. Just milked that penalty, got it perfectly for the Broncos. This will open up a 10-point lead for them. Here's Platt just coming into dummy half at the moment, just having a look where he is. Just simply ran alongside. Well, I probably got that half wrong. He looked to me like he was running at the guy with the headgear on rather than...
No, you were half right and half wrong.
rather than Nick Kosef. But gee, that's...
Actually, he's probably lucky he didn't get 10 minutes in the bin, Nick Kosef, for a professional foul. But haven't they made some mistakes, the Eagles, the last couple of minutes? We had that. The 5th tackle mistake as Lockyer comes in and puts that one over.
16-6 then. 16-6 here. And repeating earlier tonight, South Sydney over Auckland, it was 24 points to 18. 24 to 18 in favour of the Rabbitohs over the Auckland Warriors. That would be 2 points that they had budgeted for Auckland. But it has got away from them. We'll have the scores from Adelaide later. Look at Webke. His ears back and running free. Stampeding run, but he's hurt himself. And the players around him quite concerned.
He's had a shocking run with injuries, has Shane Webke, the last couple of seasons. Goes straight through Underwood's here. This is pretty auspicious first touch. Straight through. And let's just have a look at tackle coming in and whether we can see if he falls awkwardly. Tuvey dives low, steps out of it. You can see there, he knows that something's gone wrong.
He has really developed, hasn't he, into one of the top props in the game, Shane Webke. He was battling for a first-grade spot a year and a half ago, but he's really come on. He's big, he's strong, he runs hard. You saw the determination on his face. That's what the rugby league is all about.
From that shot, you'd think it was an ankle injury. Seemed to get the ankle caught under Jeff Tuvey, who was making the tackle. Philip Lee looks to come into the fray for the first time tonight.
He reminds me in many ways, Shane Webke, of Rodney Howe, who went across from Newcastle to the Reds and is now with the Storm in Melbourne. No fear at all when they take the ball ahead. It's full speed. Don't forget Sunday, our telecast time, 4 o'clock. The Bears and the Knights. Many people feel it's the match of the round. It's on Sunday, the full match at 4 o'clock on the 9 network. 2:30 kickoff for Sunday. This is Gordon Tallis now, just inside opposition territory. And there's a bit of a scuffle up between Tallis and Lyons as G is put down on the 40-metre line.
Could be looking to the touch judges for a bit of support. It wasn't forthcoming.
Now, Renoff is in pursuit of the kick, and there's pressure coming. Hancock is on top of it as well. Over the sideline. I think it's come off Brisbane. I was just looking at Craig Hancock if he did get a touch on it.
Oh, it's come off him last.
It has come off Hancock's leg. He played at the ball, Bill said. Bill Harrigan claiming that he played at the ball, which he did. He was involved in the pursuit of the football with Hancock, Michael and Craig.
Now, Sturloff, I was Elf. I'd go blindside here. Have a look at Mick Hancock.
Well, there was a chance on. And that battle of the wingers over there of the same name continues, but the penalty has gone to Brisbane. Listen to this.
Throw that ball off. Get rid of it.
So what was the penalty? Offside, do we think?
I think he's ruled that Hancock was offside on the far wing.
Just to explain that, Rabs, I was saying that Mick Hancock was on his own on the blind side, had about 12 or 13 metres to work with, and one-on-one, gee, you'd have to almost back Mick Hancock 9 times out of 10 to be able to get through.
And I think that's why Craig decided he'd take the gamble and get himself offside and get him while he was stationary. Here's Renouf, no knock on yet, and then he's lost the ball. And he's ruled accordingly, Harrigan, that they're all knocked backwards. So 15 is Lee for Brisbane, who lead by 10 points now. We draw to the 54th minute of the game. Centre of the ground, just inside the 20 from Plath. It's in the hands of Langer. Langer looking for Kevin Walters, couldn't get him the ball before Menzies put him away. Plath up and away from dummy half. He's a shrewd dummy half runner, John Plath. Very underrated, very cagey. As Langer puts it across and high, the jump is on for Hunter. A couple of meters out from his own line. Tuvey sends Hopewadi away. Drew the defence of Thorne. Lyons tries to draw them before Hill, and now for Hancock. And Craig is pulled down by Michael just outside the 30-metre line on the far side of the ground, in front of a crowd somewhere between 40 and 50,000. A magnificent crowd for the Broncos opening match. It's with Field now. Back inside his own 30-metre line. Pulled down by Langer.
Yeah, Manly are doing it tough at the moment too, Ray. They've got 2 players down in back play. Hopewadi's one. He looks to have just got to his feet, but gee, I tell you what, they're carrying some injury problems at the moment.
Underwood is out there for Manly. You would have seen him, a blonde-headed youngster, in fact, with the ball now in 17. Corey Underwood. As the ball goes across and Lyons puts it out wide. There's a jump coming for Craig Hancock, I thought, but it bounced badly for him. And just waiting for Harrigan's ruling. The knock-on.
And there is changes left, right and centre going on here. 14, Ben Walker going on. Steve Renouf getting a rest. Hunter, he got knocked senseless and catching a bomb at the other end of the field, and Albert Torrens in jersey 18 has gone on for the Manly side. And that looks like Tony Carroll getting a first touch.
Thorne crossing the 40-metre line from Adelaide. 14-4, the Cowboys over the Rams. 15 to go in the city of Churches. The Cowboys by 10. You people up there in Townsville, Cairns, you've got your team in front with 15 to go. Gina, 7 or 8 metres now, down into Manly's area. Manly trailing by 10, and Brisbane looking fairly comfortable as Lockyer comes into the backs. And this is Carroll now, getting a rare opportunity in the game. 5 tackles gone for the Broncos, and it's Lockyer on the blind side. And a neat stabbing kick down, but Phillips was there. His anticipation is good. Luke Phillips. And he will play at 15 away from his own line. Try here in the second half for Brisbane. Magnificent stuff, with Langer putting it over the line eventually. Hopewadi playing it back for the Manly number 18, Torrens. And then Menzies. Menzies looking for a gap that hasn't presented itself for Manly. Brisbane have broken Manly twice for the tries. Manly have struggled to find an opening in the Wayne Bennett cordon. Field got a pass out the back, and this is a comedy of errors as the ball goes along the Manly backline before Terry Hill is put away. 48 metres out from their own line. Manly doing it a bit tough at the moment. Lyons feeding it across. Field again catching and passing, putting Menzies on the back foot. Hopewadi goes back and behind Menzies. No Shepherd rule. Puts the kick in down for Darren Lockyer. Comes across the 40-metre line towards halfway, takes a buffeting from Manly. And Ben Walker in 14 is on. Webke's injury. Let's check that with Steve Roach on the sideline. Yes, Doctor?
Yes, he's got a bruised knee, Shane Webke, and he's pleading with the doctors to let him back out there. He's in rare form.
You'd like him, wouldn't you, Webke?
Oh, up you go, son.
Chalice will play it on the 40-metre line now. Brisbane starting to mount something. Walker trying to get away from Tuvey, but he won't let him go. Like a dog at a bone, Tuvey blocking the middle down. Walters to the 20-metre line. 5 tackles gone for Brisbane. Will Langer try the kick again across the ground? Here he is. No, he goes back and keeps it low. Phillips is back there. There's a bit of urgency, and he puts it over the dead ball line with Hancock coming down.
Well, he's become the master of the short kick, Alf. Had all day to put this kick in, or all night. He simply looked where there's a little bit of a gap, stabbed it back across, put it in field, couldn't have weighted it any better. And gee, you'd have to feel a little bit sorry for Phillips. He's got the ball there. Absolutely no chance of being able to take it out. He's under enormous pressure. But Brisbane's starting to build up a little bit of patience around that area now, not throwing so many silly passes. Obviously just waiting for the right opportunity to try and cash in on.
Been impressed with Phillips tonight. His positional play's been good. He's got a bit of a hiding out there, and still out there competing. Looks like he's got a future with the club.
The other bloke who's played so well for Manly tonight is Nick Kossoff. Had he not been out there, the score would be a lot bigger in Manly's, in Brisbane's margin, that's for sure.
Now Walker a dummy half. Langer on the left. Short ball for Walters. Then across. And that looks like Campion. The ball has come down to Manly. Yes, Campion is on in 17 for Brisbane. He was out wide. And now Colella out to the 20-metre line, centre of the park. That crowd not as big as I thought, just falling short of 40,000. 39,109. Copped a tip from one of the old timers, and I left the money in. Terry Hill plays the ball now. Manly have got to do something. 3/4 of the match gone, down by 10, and scoring tries hasn't been easy for either side. Now Cliffy Lyons, a bit of blood coming down the side of his face, and Hopewadi gets a kick to go back in field off the right foot. Quite unorthodox, but did well. Lockyer pulled down by Cliffy Lyons from an onside position. Back on the Brisbane 10. Ben Walker's the dummy half. And now De Vere comes in off his wing. Comparing the involvement of De Vere on one wing and Michael Hancock on the other, it gives a staggering win to Michael Hancock, and that's not meant to be disrespectful to young De Vere, but it does indicate that Michael Hancock has just involved himself in the game. He's put himself where the ball has been. Great winger's performance. Kevin Walters clearing. Ball bouncing down to the Manly number 18, which is Albert Torrens, who came from Lismore to Manly. He's a product of Woodlawn College up there, which is one of the good schoolboy colleges. Maris Brothers. This is Field around in a 360, picking up Cliff Lyons, turning it on the inside for Menzies to try and penetrate the centre. Not a great deal of organisation there on occasions from the Manly side. Scott Fulton is on. Menzies given the ball, and probably wishing he hadn't. They were right on top of him. Now to the blind side goes Manly. Terry Hill running off the pass of Kossoff just outside the 20-metre point. 16-6, down by 10 Manly. Field running around Lyons, then being herded back in by Brisbane. Lyons keeping the ball alive. Fulton puts it down, and that will be play on, the advantage going to Brisbane. Back on their own 20-metre line and trying to do something on the first tackle, as they so often do. And this was Scott Fulton pulled down by Carroll. The ball coming out. Brisbane now playing the ball for the second time on this set. Brad Thorne. 5 metres from the halfway line. Walker has assumed the dummy half role with John Platt back on the bench. This is Peter Ryan, the lock forward. Walker again, very smart player. Lives very much in the shadow of Alan Langer. waiting for his chances. Langer's with it, crosses the 30. Lockie is after it. Phillips did well. And Hancock is on him like an eagle.
Yeah, he's right. He's had a big game, Luke Phillips. His positional play tonight has saved Manly probably 3 or 4 tries. Once again, lurking just behind the ruck there and picking up that ball.
This is Fulton taking them on and meeting the full drive from the Brisbane defence. Field to the blind side. Lyons running a decoy. Terry Hill nowhere to go. Gaps in this Brisbane line at a minimum. And is it any wonder that most people have got them as favourites to win their 4th title? 2 ARL premierships, 1 Super League premiership, and looking to win the initial NRL premiership. Manly, of course, it would be 7 for them if they could win it, and it would be their 4th consecutive grand final if they can make it. Walker, a handoff, and it's a penalty. Ruled Manly offside. 64th minute. And again, some lack of discipline in the Manly ranks.
Yeah, they might be getting some tough decisions in their mind, the Manly team, but they've just got to shut up and cop it. Another 10. Now Lockyer comes up, he finds an extra 30, so all of a sudden 6 tackles coming Brisbane's way within 25 metres of the line.
Brad Thorne there most times to take that first play for the forwards. Carroll 5 metres out. His try number 3 coming. Langer is probing. Lets 2 runners go. Renoff's out wide. A metre in from the touchline. Dummy half is De Vere in 5. Through to Walters and on to Walker. And the 15 for them. Philip Lee will play it back in the centre of the park. They're inside the 10-metre line. Walters again. Dummy to Renoff. Gets a pass out the back. It goes to ground and full.
Yeah, the last 5 or 10 minutes, Kevin Walters has really started to come into the match. They're dodging and darting around the rucks. He's a small man. Manly getting tired. And that was nearly a perfect pass there for the inside support and Darren Smith.
Sunday's footy show, the time for that is 11 o'clock. Different time for the footy show on Sunday, 11 o'clock. Paul and Peter and the boys, Blocker.
Fatty, looking at this Manly performance tonight, after 65 minutes, as Tierney leaves the field, Hopewadi in the centres. I see Jamie Olgenick was actually named on the bench at one stage, but decided against being in the top 17. Do you see Hopewadi being the answer with Craig Innes not at the club?
Well, I think he's done all right. He's obviously normally a winger or fullback. It's probably a fill-in position for him. They're hoping that Olgenick comes good, but I think he's handled it pretty well. It's been a fairly flat performance, I felt, from Manly tonight. They're not out of it yet. They can still win it, but they need to score very, very soon. I think they've lacked a few, big hitting forwards there in the middle of the ruck, just taking the ball up one-on-one.
So again, Manly try to come down that blind side. They've had little success. It's been a very tight Brisbane unit. Very good first half for Manly's own defence. They did it tough. They were out without the captain for 10. And they weathered that storm. They led until the 39th minute. And this is Underwood now. 38 metres out from his own line as Lyons pinches it off down towards that touch line, and Michael Hancock puts a shadow across it. And it will see a scrum form 20 in, down on the 20-metre line.
This is by no means been a great performance from Brisbane. I think they'll win it. I don't think Manly are doing enough in this last 10 minutes to get home. But I think Wayne Bennett will be very pleased, not just with the fact they've got 2 competition points, but because they've been very gritty, they've been very tough, they've worked hard, their defence has been tremendous. Here we see Jeff Tuvey, who's had a pretty frustrating night, again having a conversation with the man in charge.
Still, I think the thing that Bennett would be most pleased with was that the discipline showed in their defence. The slide defence has been perfect for them tonight. It's only buckled once, and it probably cost him about 15 metres. So I think he'll be pretty happy, while he wouldn't be all smiles about the attacking efforts.
Brisbane coming away from their own 20-metre zone, and strong defence again there by Kosef with some help from Phillips, the fullback. This is Walker. 16-6. Brisbane extending their 2-point lead at half-time by 8 points. Thorne, Fenn with that big left hand. Right on the halfway line they are. Harrigan. Let's go to him. Let's go to him.
Well, he's calling out Hopewadi again.
You can roll him over, but you don't have to take his head off in the clean time, mate. You nearly took his head off. You did it in the first half. You did it again. There's no need for it.
Well, there it is. Hopewadi again in trouble from Bill Harrigan, and there's the elbow coming down. Penalty to Brisbane. 15-5 the penalties now.
If you're going to beat Brisbane, you've got to have the little things going for you, don't you? You've got to win things like the penalty count. So to be 3-1 down in that area 3 times, you just can't beat a side with the quality of player out there that the Brisbane side possess.
Langer across for Walters, running hard, and flung down the Brisbane 15, Philip Lee. Now back on the right of the ground. Langer's ready for it, gets it away. Lockie is there, turns it inside. Andrew G takes a couple of defenders down with him. Walker will answer his call from Langer. Langer across, a decoy from Walters. Plath comes into the back line, able to get a ball away. Michael Hancock deserves a try and gets it. Michael Hancock is over the line for a try. Third of the game for Brisbane.
Well, he gets a great pass here. It looked as though the movement was going to break down. Tuvey and Hopewadi combined fairly well out wide to try and snuff this out. But John Plath, somehow, with Terry Hill also hanging on, he was able to get the ball to Hancock, and it's just sheer determination, isn't it?
Well, I mean, there was 100 Manly, there's 1,000 Manly players there. And they still couldn't stop him. And weight of possession has just taken its toll. They're all tired. And Mickey Hancock, he's a legend, I'll tell you. He's a great winger. One of the greats. Snorky.
Well, Paddy, you've had a very close association with Bozo. Again, that try's come about through a simple Manly mistake or an error that's come from a penalty. How does Bozo take to that?
I don't think he'll take too kindly. Their discipline hasn't been there tonight. The little mistakes like that, the penalties given, as Peter, we've all said, it's gone against them. Possession has gone Brisbane's way. Everything's gone Brisbane's way. That's why they're getting beaten, Manly.
Just looking at Michael Hancock and his performance tonight reminds me that McDonald's are our sponsor of the $1,000 man of the match, as Lockyer goes for the 2 points and gets it straight between the uprights. Will he be the man of the match? Brisbane 22, Manly 6 from ANZ. Webke, when he was there, Thorne, though, has been very good in the second half. Ball went forward, he'll pack a scrum. 25 metres away. 22-6 Brisbane. Scrum packing off a ball that went forward off the hands of Brisbane. Incidentally, next Friday night, as we just watch that passage of play, next Friday night we go to the Sydney Football Stadium for the Roosters up against the Bears. So the big clashes early, they keep coming. That's 8:30 at the SFS, the Roosters versus the Bears. As Tuvey goes across the ground, and John Hopewadi, he could have swallowed it, but he put it down. Andrew G, 25 away from his own line. He's got a problem.
Is he?
This was the pass to Hopewadi. It might have been a fraction low, but he was entitled to catch it. 15-5 the penalties. And Paul has just finished making the comment. Bob Fulton will not be impressed with that. McDonald's, we welcome you as the sponsor of our man of the match. $1,000 every Friday night. Wouldn't go far if the Roaches went to McDonald's by the same token. And this is Gordon Tallis. Put down by Menzies underneath. Field over the top. Field getting his hand off the ball just in time. Harrigan's been strong in that area tonight. Stringent, I think, is the word. Walker, Plath. Plenty of dummy halves out there now. This is Lee. Good round the corner pass. Walter's there, always there. Plath's there again. Good work by Johnny Plath. Underwood got a touch on it. And he's got the ball in his grasp. Just for a moment, I thought he'd given them another 6 tackles. Manly coming away from their 20-metre line now with Torrens. Sidaris taking a tackle, using Torrens again. He's put away on the 40-metre line. 73rd minute about to go by. Underwood now.
He has played really well since he came on. I reckon he's had a dozen hit-ups, and he's really gingered him up a bit.
Kosef. Heavy body contact. Field on. Lyons, the kick. Hancock, the chase. Hill is with him. Hancock flying through the air. Now, Hill tries to put him away and does. Incidentally, talking of program changes, the racing show for you punters, that's 11:30 tomorrow. And Sports Sunday becomes Sports Saturday. But Saturday 11:30, Johnny Tapp and the racing boys with a preview rather than a review. So they'll get a chance to tell us that they tip plenty of winners before the event, not afterwards. And this is Philip Lee now, 42 metres away from his own line. Walker to the right, Langer to the halfway. The legs kept going, but the body didn't. The tackle up top from Kallela. Walker, adroit in the kicking department. Handy man to have when you are playing dummy half. Here's Phillips, pulled down by Darren Smith. Scored the first try at the 39th minute. Now Torrens down the sideline. Walker's after him.
He's been pretty impressive since coming on as well, Albert Torrens. The other big plus to come out of this game, of course, for Brisbane is the fact that Alan Langer has got through it without any problems whatsoever. The ball floated out to Hancock. Alf came into this game with Dickie groin, so to speak, and he hasn't been affected by it at all. Looks as though the surgery was successful during the off-season.
Fulton. Off the feet of Lyons. Kallela. Strong run, shoveling it down. And it's Fulton, I think, that's dived on the ball. And 6 more tackles, says Bill Harrigan. Madley crossing the 30-metre line. But a forlorn hope for them now. Trailing 22-6 with 5 minutes to go. This is Underwood. And he's underneath the tackle of Plath and Tallis. Manly looking for their first try. Field, a floater, over the head of Kallela. Obawadi bumps away from Darren Smith. But the troops arrive and put him down. Kallela one more time. His kick coming off the feet of Brisbane. And they didn't play at the ball, so he doesn't nullify the tackle count. Lyons trying to bat the ball across the line, off the feet of Torrens over the dead ball. Back to the 20 for the restart. And incidentally, this restart can be of any nature under the new rules.
So you think they'll let Andrew G take it up from now on?
I was waiting for that. The ball can be kicked off in any manner from that 20-metre restart under the new rules this year.
Speaking of Andrew G, 11 tackles and 20 hit-ups. Got through a mountain of work once again in the middle of the ruck.
Langer's pass on the blind side, turned in by Lee. Back through Langer for Tallis. Hasn't made one of those trademark runs of his tonight. It's always hard to pull down, but they get used to seeing him with that rampaging run, that unstoppable Gordon Tallis. Now Langer with a chip and a chase. The referee had to get out of the road. He puts another kick on it. Hancock has to come in from the right wing to clean it up. And this he does. 25 out from the Manly line, trailing by 22-6. A second half that really has got away from Manly. They trailed 8-6 at the break. And Harrigan has ruled that he lost it of his own accord. The boys in the box are suggesting that it was helped out. Yeah, he's lost it of his own accord, looking at the pictures. Balmain and the Gold Coast at Leichhardt tomorrow night. St George and Wests. They clash at Cogra, the old foes from the early 60s. Now, a good run by Lee. I'll tell you what, he's done some very impressive things, Philip Lee. Now from Plath. Langer probing, looking back. The ball to ground for Sidaris for Manly. Alan Langer mightn't be impressed with some of his teammates there. Very little support for the captain. Field, you can see the tiredness as he lumbers it out himself.
Yeah, doing it tough. In fact, both sides have closed up shop as Nick Kosef works the blind side, throws a dummy and finds Torrens coming in for some more action. I guess one of the talking points coming into this season was what rules were going to be run with. Oh, gee, caught that. Thank you very much.
That ball had a note on it, Sturlo. Here, do something.
Oh, Nick Kosef.
Had a note on it. Said Ward 13 at the local hospital. That's what it said.
Yeah, until I had a look on the face there. Had a lot of room to work in, but I think the rules tonight have worked pretty well. The one that did catch Manly out early in the match was the hand on the ball in the tackle. They got penalised on a number of occasions for trying to impede the man playing the footy. But overall, I think the rules have worked very well tonight and shouldn't be a problem for the rest of the season.
A little bit of pride coming in, I suppose, now for the Broncos. They'd love to keep Manly triallers, but just an interesting sight of just Alfie Langer walking over to pick that football up, just hanging onto the groin a little bit. Perhaps it's a little bit of a tinge there. I'm a little bit surprised that Bennett's kept him on. I would have thought that with just 5 or 10 minutes remaining, the match wrapped up, he would have kept him off.
Get it down of it.
This is against a high tackle from, it looks like Tony Carroll, the Brisbane player. A matter of 30 seconds left in the game. And we'll have Steve on the field with the man of the match before we break. Now, hang on, I believe he has sent him off, has he? John Hopewadi. Now, I think he sent Tuvey off as well. He sent the captain off as well.
Well, Ray, that is something that Bob Fulton will be furious about. Not just about them getting a sent from the field. It could cop them a couple of weeks suspension as well.
Well, Gordon Tallis will play the ball, but all of that has become purely academic. That ball has gone back for John Plath, a sensational moment in the game. I was looking at some statistics, and Hopewadi has been sent off, and then the captain was also sent off. It would be for abusive language aimed at the referee on more than one occasion. Little scuffle up in back play between Tallis and Field. The ball targeted towards the corner. Torrens pulled into the in goal.
Tackle wasn't finished.
And Harrigan said the tackle wasn't finished, so he's going to enforce the line dropout. Matter of seconds in the game. Our clock has expired, and so too is the game now officially. A sensational end to it. Brisbane winning by 22 points to 6. With Manly having 2 players sent off in the last minute for, I would imagine, abusive language to the referee on more than one occasion. 22 points to 6. Brisbane's tries from Smith, Langer and Hancock. Lockyer got 5 from 6. Phillips got 1 goal. Field got 2. And the penalties finished at 16 to 6. in front of a crowd of 39,109. Well, it all happened so quickly. In the last few seconds of the game, Harrigan's patience with Hopewati and Tuvey running out, and he has sent them off.
Well, we've been talking about discipline right through that second half there, Ray. It is disappointing for the Manly fans to see the game end up on a note, probably for the rugby league game to see it end that way. There was always going to be a real battle on, but gee, that's going to be a talking point for a while.
Steve Roach on the sidelines has got the McDonald's man of the match. Yes, Steve?
Yeah, the $1,000 McDonald's man of the match goes to Michael Hancock. Michael, tremendous performance tonight. You really backed yourself to stay with the Broncos this season.
Yeah, mate, yeah, I've done a lot of work off season. You know, I just really want to stay in there, and you know, everyone says I might be over the hill, you know, but I've got a few years left of me yet.
Yeah, you got a bit of a spark there, mate. You were really intent on getting in and running the football tonight.
Yeah, I just sort of got to time my runs, you know, make sure they count, and that's what I did tonight. I can't sort of go overboard like I've done in the past. You know, I've got to save my energy and make the ones I do, make them count.
Well, everyone was saying what a big loss Glenn Lazarus was going to be, but tonight, Wetke outstanding before he got injured, and Brad Thorne, what a great second half.
Oh, mate, they just took it forward all the time. They just, you know, they just made inroads, and it made it easier for Alf and even Kevin to make opportunities for Pearl and Smitty out wide.
Well, mate, congratulations on behalf of McDonald's, $1,000.
Thanks, Block, and thanks, McDonald's.
Good on you, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, a fairly simple, a fairly modest Michael Hancock. He wouldn't like me calling him that, but a very modest Michael Hancock. They were making inroads up the middle for Michael Hancock out wide tonight. He takes the man of the match. Not often does a winger win it. $1,000 from McDonald's. Good luck to you, Mick. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. Ken, Peter and Paul will wrap it. Steve will have a couple of interviews with some of the star performers. All of that on the opening night of Friday Night Football.